Hello, goddesses. Welcome back to the Champagne Empress podcast, where you get to step into your power and embody the life you desire. I'm your host, Georgette Casimir, a life and embodiment coach, where I get to guide you into the journey of embodying your ultimate self expression with grace, love, and freedom. I'm excited to kick off episode 1. And today we're going to talk about the ultimate self love. Because I believe in this journey, before we start with the mindset work, the up leveling, because we're going to up level throughout this podcast, right? But before we start there, we have to go back to the basic. And the basic is the self-love part. And I know this word has been thrown around quite often and everyone is like, oh, self-love again. And I just want to come to you and understand from the Champagne Empress world, what does self-love truly means? So I know a lot of you are starting on this journey, and I know others continue. I continue to walk in my self-love journey every single day. And it's something that is forever because you kind of have to love yourself every single day. And I just want to let you know, like, self-love is not a phase, but it's a way of life. It takes time, it requires patience and compassion. So before we even talk about self-love, what is the meaning that comes to mind when you think of it? Like, take out all the definition you've heard before. What does self-love means to you? What is your definition of it? So in the Champagne Empress world, self-love, honestly, is having high standards for yourself. It means not settling for less than you deserve. And I know this phrase triggers a lot of people, but honestly, it is the ability to see yourself as flawed, because self-love is not about perfection. Self-love is not about loving yourself only when you're looking good, when you're feeling good. Self-love is embracing every part of who you are. When you're down, when you're up, it's looking at yourself and say, I am not perfect, and I love that. Right? I love the person that's looking back at me in the mirror with the pimples, with anything that's surrounding it, right? I love it. It's really not trying new things. You know you're afraid of, but you still do. You're like, oh, I might fail. But the failure doesn't stop you. You still move forward. It's the ability to not fall into a world of shame or self-hatred. Even when you mess up, we're going to make mistakes. Again, we're not perfect as human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do things that we are not proud of. But this is the thing about being human. We're here to experience. We're here to live life. We're here to make mistakes. But none of those mistakes define the fact that you're less than. So we're going to raise that standard because it is time to raise the bar. So yes, self-love is about awareness and acceptance. Yes, awareness and acceptance. So today we're going to talk about all the ways you can possibly find that in your life. Right? And some of you are asking, well, how do I get started? The first thing I want you to do is really, if you have a journal, as you're going to find out down the line, journaling is like one of my things. So anyways, if you have a journal, grab your journal and ask yourself, what does self-love means to me? Because self-love means something different for each individual. So you have to figure out what it means to you. Not what I think it is. Not what your family think it is. Not what your cousins think it is. But it is what resonates. So yeah, let's talk about what does self-love means to you. And it can mean different things, right? It might be talking to yourself with love, prioritizing yourself, trusting yourself. This is a big one. You have to be able to trust yourself. And that's when we dive into more intuition work, because when you are in tune with who you are, you trust yourself more. You trust every single thing about that. And it could also mean setting boundaries. Okay? So what does that mean to you? But I want to talk about a few tips on how to practice self-love. The one thing I want to remind you, the one thing is knowing that you are enough as is. And what does that mean, right? You are enough as is. Like I mentioned before, we are human on this planet, experiencing every single thing life has to offer. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to learn. But in this present moment, in the here and now, you are enough as you are. Yes, I understand that we want to be better. We want to move forward. We want to improve. Yes. But while you're going through the journey, every moment, you are enough where you are now. So for example, if you want to lose 10 pounds, are you going to say, I'm going to love myself when I lose this 10 pounds? No. I want you to stop and love yourself with all of the pounds. And tomorrow you're going to say, I want to be better. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to work out. I'm going to eat healthier. And you lose 5 pounds. That is another journey in itself. You get to love your body with the 5 pounds. You get to love your body with the 8 pounds. You get to love your body where it is now. The pimples, the bad skin, the dry skin, all of it. Because right now, it is what you have. So I want you to know that you are enough as is now. I was in a relationship once where I thought I needed to look amazing every day, and I needed to cook every single day for me to feel like I was doing enough, to feel like I was giving my all. But what it did was drain me, because this was not who I was. It did not align with my self-expression. I was doing it because I wanted to please other people. I was not doing it for myself. I wanted to be good enough for somebody else and not good enough for me. Like the mental stage I was in was not good. Because sometimes we want to please so many people around us. We want to please everyone that we forget about us. And we want to do all the things so we could prove ourselves that we are good enough. We want to do all the plastic surgery because we want to prove that we are good enough. Hey, by no means, what I'm saying, don't get plastic surgery. What I mean is, if you are going to do something, plastic surgery, whatever, do it because you want to do it. Not because you want to fix something, because honey, there's nothing about you that needs fixing. Yes, you can improve. Yes, you can get better. Yes, you could evolve, because that's who we are. We are human on this planet who needs to evolve. But that doesn't mean you're not good enough now. That doesn't mean that you are broken right now. So whatever in your life you feel like I have to fix, I want you to look at it a different way. I am good enough as is right now. I have done the best I could right now. How can I improve my life? Because I know I am enough as is. I have all the education. I have all the knowledge. I have all the love. because I am enough as I am. And then we're going to walk through how to improve. We're going to go into healthy habits to improve, to maybe be better, get better. But you're not broken, my darling. My goddess, you're divine. You're just hiding your fullest potential. You're just masking who you truly are because you are stuck in a world where society says this is who you should be. And today, I want you to break it. I want you to break that box. I want you to let yourself out of it and say, I am good enough as I am. And go on that path for your fullest expression to be fulfilled in this lifetime. How to put that into practice, right? What I do every morning, I go into my bathroom. I look at myself in the mirror, and sometimes I have no clothes on, and I look at myself, every inch of my body, and I said, I love you. You're good enough. Yes, sometimes I want a six-pack, but when I look at myself and I'm like, where is it? Well, guess what? I am still good enough without it. Do I want it? Absolutely. But I am good enough right now. I am good enough with little eyebrows. I am good enough as I am. Do I put on makeup to enhance my beauty? Absolutely. But I am good enough. I am enough without it. So just remember that nothing environmental, nothing in your life can take that away from you. Because you're enough. You're good enough as you are right now. Give yourself love. Give yourself grace and compassion. Because not every day we're going to feel like we are. But when those moments arrive, you say, you know what, girl? I still love you. I still love you in your doubt. But guess what? You're still enough. Enough as is. Oh, all these fears are coming up. But guess what? You're still enough. It's recognizing and giving yourself enough compassion to go through it. Because this journey of self-love, you're gonna need it. And you're gonna look at yourself one day and you're gonna say, oh my gosh, I wish I was prettier. You're gonna look, I wish I was skinnier. You're gonna look, I wish. There's always going to be an I wish. Those moments, you're going to remind yourself, I am enough as I am, and I'm giving myself grace. I'm giving myself love, and I'm giving myself so much compassion for where it stands right now. I get to honor my feeling as is. I am to honor my feelings right now, because truly that is how I feel. Truly, I am not feeling good enough, but I am honoring where I am right now. And my darling, when you honor those feelings, when you are aware and you accept the fact that you're not feeling it, you are giving yourself love. Because you are honoring where you are right now. It's about honoring every single part of you, mentally, physically, your feelings, your emotions. It's understanding I am sad right now, but there's nothing wrong with me. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't feel. I'm going to listen to my body right now. I'm going to honor my feelings. And I'm going to accept the fact that I am sad. But I am still enough. So another way I like to practice self-love, it's mindfulness. And like I mentioned earlier, I love to journal, right? So, one way for me to practice mindfulness is truly by journaling because I go inwards. I love going inwards because I get to be true to myself. I get to be honest in every single feelings that I'm feeling. I get to be honest in my thoughts. I get to be honest with myself because if I cannot be honest with myself when no one is watching, no one is around me, how can I practice being honest with others? And I think in this self-love journey, that is something that is going to come. Honesty with other people, really setting boundaries is going to require you to be true to yourself every single day. And one way I practice that is by practicing mindfulness. And there's different way to do this, but one thing I love is journaling. I woke up this morning and I journaled and I asked myself, how are you feeling today? I love asking myself that question every morning because I want to know how my body feels. How did my body react from saying this? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling happy? I want to be able to honor that. So I journal and put my thoughts out into the world, into my journal. So I feel like practicing mindfulness is one of those things that is great for the mind. I also meditated this morning. That's another way for me to practice mindfulness because I want to be able to give myself the space that it needs. I want to be able to give myself the quiet time that it needs to stop, to recoup, to stay sane. Because I prioritize myself to know that mentally, physically, spiritually, I have high standards for myself. So then I get to show up for myself. And that's one way I get to show up for me by practicing mindfulness, being fully present in the moment. As an embodiment coach, the whole thing is experiencing the now. You get to experience the feelings now. You get to be fully present in this moment. And right now, I am feeling my throat speak to you. I am feeling the voice, the sound. I feel my fingers tingles. Right now, I get to be fully present talking to you. I get to be fully aware of my thoughts. So practicing mindfulness is truly a way to navigate the moment. So practice mindfulness if you feel like you need to give yourself a little more love. Allow yourself to be present in the moment, however that feels like. And for me, another way is to dance. I love feeling my body. I love feeling every movement. When I dance, I am truly present in my body. I'm aware of my hands moving and the feelings that it brings. I dance without judgment, without feeling like, oh my gosh, your body's not moving right. No, I get to be fully immersed in my experience. So that is one other way that I'd like to be immersed in my self-love, right? And one thing I want you to know, because sometimes people are like, well, I don't deserve it. Can you answer this question for me? Why don't you think you deserve self-love? Why not? The past that you have gone through, the experiences that you have gone through, the words that came out of people's mouths saying, I don't love you, has nothing to do with you. It's their thoughts, it's their emotions that you're taking on. So today, if you haven't heard it, I want to remind you that you are worth it. You're worthy of all the love. You're worthy of all the happiness. You're worthy of being in this life. And I know some days you might not feel like it. But I want to tell you, with every inch of my body, I know that you're worth it. And I want you to start believing that. Because Goddess, you are worth it. When you give yourself high standards, you get to show up. You take on habits that shows that. For example, practicing self-care is good for self-love. Because you put yourself such in a high standard that now it's like, oh my gosh, I cannot have this junk food because my body doesn't love it. I'm not going to say be like a robot and not eat a burger. I indulge in junk food sometimes. However, when I do, I give myself compassion. I give myself grace. Because we're here to live to the fullest. And that also means enjoying the things that are on this earth. However, I do feed my body things that it loves. And that may look different for you. My body loves green juice. My body loves eating smaller meals. My body loves nuts, avocados, all these things. My body parties when I feed it this kind of things. So I want you to figure out what are good things, good self-care that your body loves. So you could remind yourself how much love you have for it. And if it's a massage, go get a massage because then you clear your mind. Not only you're practicing mindfulness because you get to be in the moment. Your mind is clear. You're giving yourself care physically as well. Exercising, moving your body. It's a good way of self-care because you know your body loves movement. And I know for myself, when I want to drop it low, I gotta make sure my knees are moving. I'm giving those knees the love it needs by moving my body. So practice good self-care when it comes to giving yourself the ultimate self-love. And when I mean self-care, it could mean physically, mentally, emotionally. Going to the park is practicing self-care. I love having my foot on the grass. Those things remind me again to be present, to clear my mind. Music fuels my soul. And I want to give my soul something that makes it happy, something that it loves, because I do it because I love it. So find the things that you absolutely love, not because you need to. You don't need to do anything, but do the things because you love to, you want to. I want to move my body. Give yourself that love. I want to eat healthy. Give yourself that love. I want to eat this salad. Give yourself that love. You see, I'm not a big salad eater, but when I do eat a salad, it's because I desire it. I love it. And I eat it with so much love. And my body gets to appreciate the love that I put into it. So don't do something because that's what you need to do. We need to let go of the mentality of the notion that in order for you to do something, to be something, you have to do it like everybody else does it, even if you don't like it. Self-love is practicing the boundaries. It's allowing yourself to be fully expressed. So if you're expressing yourself in a way that is natural to you, it is not self-love. If you're dancing and you hate it, it is not self-love. If you're saying yes because you feel obligated, that is not self-love. Understanding self-love is saying yes when your body says yes, and it's saying no and standing to the no because your body says no. And honoring that boundary and honoring yourself when you say yes or no. Standing in your truth. That is what self-love is all about. And ultimately, I want you to give yourself unconditional love. Yes, we want unconditional love, but we don't even know how to practice it. You want someone to love you unconditionally, but you don't even know how to give it, how to receive it. And the first way to receive that is by giving it to yourself. It's by standing in front of you in the mirror and say, I love you the way you are. I love every inch of your body. I love your scars. I love your hurt. I love your happiness. I love who you are. The strength, the weaknesses, every single part of you. Because that's what makes you you. There's going to be a part that you absolutely love already. And there's going to be a part that you don't quite love. You don't even quite like. But it's being aware and accept that I still love you regardless of your shenanigan. Sometimes I wake up, guys, and I don't want to do the things. And I procrastinate because maybe something that I'm avoiding, right? But do I sit here and dwell in self-pity? I allow myself to feel it, but I still love the moment I am in now. I still love the fact that I honor my feelings. Every single day, we're like, I'm so grateful to be alive. I am so grateful. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you. However, we go back in front of the mirror and we're like, well, I don't love this pimple. I don't love my shoulders. I don't love my stomach. But yet we're saying, I'm so grateful to be alive. We have to be grateful all around. And we have to love every single thing that comes with it. We're going to have heartbreaks. We're going to have bad stuff happen. But we're going to rise up because we're going to love ourselves no matter what. Today, I want you to claim that this is my non-negotiable. I get to love every single part of me. I get to love the part that I'm afraid to show the world. I get to love the part that society tells me that is wrong. I want you to live life for you. Therefore, in order to love your life, you have to love every inch of you. So this is a journey of ultimate self-love. Because my darling, my goddess, you are enough as is. And today I want to remind you, if you're having doubts, you don't feel it, I am reminding you that you are enough. You are worth it. You are loved. You are beautiful. And I want you to give yourself a hug. Go ahead, right now. Give yourself a hug. Give it grace. Give it compassion. And tell yourself that I love you. I love you as you are. I love you all the time. When you drop the ball, when you're rising up, I love you. I love you. Oh my goodness, goddesses. To recap, I just want to remind you, self-care is not about being perfect. It is about accepting and being aware of who you are right now, where you are, and progressing into the next phase. Setting high standards for yourself because you deserve it. You deserve it. Self-love is not about vanity. It is not about I'm better than anybody else. Because once you start thinking that, no, honey, there's no self-love. Self-love doesn't compete with anyone. Because you get to love every inch of you for who you are, for where you're at, with the education you have, with where you live. You get to love that now. And you get to practice mindfulness. Some practice journaling, dancing, meditation, yoga. All these things could help with practicing mindfulness. And I want you to give yourself unconditional love right now, right here, all the time. Accepting all the flaws and walking with it. We're going to fail. But again, who determines when we fail? Is it because society says, if you don't succeed in business, you fail? What about the lessons that come with that? So whenever we think of failure, I want you to think about it as a lesson that you have learned and loving every inch of that. Oh, you know what? That didn't work out. I'm going to move forward with the other because I have the standards for myself that I get to be fully expressed, fully loved, fully devoted to who I am, to staying true to who I am all the time. So goddesses, set healthy boundaries for yourself because that is part of self-love. Be nice to yourself. Be kind. When you look at yourself in the mirror, remind yourself that you are enough. You're beautiful. When you're thinking those thoughts that no one else can hear, take them out and say, nope, I am good enough. Trust yourself. Trust your decision. Ask your body, do I want to do this because I want to or because I have to? Ask yourself. And give yourself a break from self-judgment. Give yourself grace, compassion. When you look at yourself and you're like, oh man, I have that pimple, release that. Release the self-judgment. Release that aspect of you. Just prioritize yourself. Again, it is a non-negotiable. Prioritize who you are. Prioritize yourself. Prioritize your truth. Thank you, goddesses, for joining me today. It was such an honor. Now, go ahead and practice the ultimate self-love. Because it is about you. Because what comes next will help you in the journey of leveling up. So choose you today. Choose you. Thank you for coming and see you next time. Bye-bye.